Alright, what is going on, you guys? So, welcome, Fanfiction Friday, new series I'm starting. This will be uploaded tomorrow. I'm doing this on a Thursday. Let's go ahead and do it. Okay. Kung Fu Panda, Chapter 1, Symptom 1, Wet Dreams. Disclaimer, just keep reading. Important notice, I just want y'all to know this is supposed to be another story for a different movie, Lion King. Then the idea of something else came along, and I was at a standstill. I was just discussing it with my friend Knight of Eons, and he gave me the idea of making a Kung Fu Panda story. So that's where this story came from. By the way, the first half of the story will be a little confusing, but you'll find out why. Summary Tiger says the problem is she's gone into heat for the first time as an adult and can't fully control her desire for Po, and, well... With little control she has begins to slip as Po slips off the stairs and lands in a patch of weird-smelling grass, and several other problems await, including a visiting former thief and an evil owl style master. Enjoy. A.K.A. point of view. I'm going to try and read this as serious as possible, you guys. Tigress moaned as she was gently laid on her back, her moan being swallowed by her lover's mouth as they ravaged each other's maw. A low growl of pleasure rumbled from his broad white/black chest and seemed to vibrate the two of them as they lay in the tall grasses on the side of the mountain housing the Jade Palace. Hidden from the world's prying eyes, they could love each other. They were content to only spending nights together. So long as they were together, nothing else mattered. His large, black, dual-clawed hand ran along the curve of her body as she wrapped her arms around his waist and tried her best to press them together with more force. The air between them was as hot as the passion of their kiss. This is very awkward for me to read, by the way. Sweat dripped along her body as his hands gently roamed gentle, calloused fingers, leaving wet, hot, velvety trails in their wake. Jesus Christ, so descriptive. Had anyone seen them, they'd have thought the same thing. They'd say they were simply lovers enjoying each other in a very physical manner. This was a situation they'd been in numerous times, and positioned over her between her strong black panted legs and her arms draped over his body, gently raking her ivory claws along his powerful yet soft back, her occasionally running her fingers through his thicker neck fur. Her tail was moving back and forth, occasionally curling against his backside as she moaned with no regard as to who heard them. Oh my god. Po, please, more. Oh my god. I haven't even read any of this until now. This is my first time even checking this out. I got a link from my friend. Tell you he's at the end. Hang on, how long is this? Not too terribly long. He pulled away from her, looking at her burning amber eyes with genuine deep concern marring his features. Tigress, his voice was thick and husky with love, lust, and more. Are you sure? There's no going back if we go through with this. In response, she ground her hips against his heavily. Po, please, I don't care what happens. I love you and you love me. That's all I care about, Po. She tightened her grip on him, making sure he couldn't leave. Please, even if it's only for this one night, make love to me. What am I doing with my life for YouTube? He smiled down at her, his gentle jade green eyes burning into her amber red. Then, if my love is what you want, he slowly, teasingly ground his hips down on hers, making her breathing hitch. Then I'll give you all the love I've got, every last ounce, babe. Get ready to feel the thunder. If he'd known what those words did to her, he'd have used that as his signal that he wanted her. She no doubt felt what happened to her underwear. His hand slid along the curve of her body, as if... Jesus Christ, this is so long. Be right back. His hands slid along the curve of her body, as if he were trying to remember every inch of the defined, powerful hourglass figure hidden by her clothes before his right hand swam over her cloth-covered breast. She wasn't flat-chested by a long shot, as many had believed, but he didn't care. In his eyes, she was perfect. He looked into her eyes, begging for permission. She reached up between them and yanked open her signature red vest, exposing her cloth-covered sea cups. The cloth wraps restricting her breast were next to go, torn via his dulled but still sharp claws. Oh my god. Gently cupping one of her soft, white, furred breasts in his large hand, he softly knitted it. This made her moan slightly louder, arching her back so as to press herself further into his warm hand. He then looked to her other unattended breast, exposed to the chilled night air. He had said he'd give her all his love, and he'd meant it. He leaned down, trailing kisses along her neck, and stopping briefly to suck on the small, dark, red hickey he'd left earlier until he was level with her soft breast. Oh my god. He blew on it, his warm breath adorning her skin with sensitive goosebumps. He then took the erect little nub between his lips, sucking it lightly. She gasped while grasping his head and buried her hands in his white fur, pulling his head closer to her chest. She couldn't believe how good this felt. No one had ever made her feel the way she did whenever he touched her, ever. Oh, Poe. Yes. She almost purred from the pleasure. She could feel a heat building up inside her, a fire that only he could fuel and extinguish. She almost released her fire when she felt him prod her nipple with his warm, wet tongue. It sent burning pleasure throughout her body, making everything blur as her mind was overcome with such new yet welcomed pleasure. Through the pleasure, she could vaguely feel hand sliding down her stomach before stopping at the waistband over her black silk pants. He was still hesitant. She quickly grabbed his thicker wrist, and with a fierce swiftness she shoved his hand past the waistband and into her pants. His plump fingers sliding across her dampened underwear, her flower. The electric jolt she got was like being hit with Shen's dragon cannon, only this felt unbelievably good. Her eyes saw nothing but a hot white light that seemed to pull at her insides. She had no idea that she had been purring, as Poe held his finger still. He could feel the heat that had erupted from her covered flower like summer rain, powerful and obviously there, yet gentle and inviting. Tigress was brought out of her world of light as she felt him slowly pull his hand out of her pants. Her flower was aching for his touch, his love. He couldn't stop. Not now. She wanted and needed him. Tigress. Wait, what? Poe, why are you stopping? She asked, trying to get control of her purring, which seemed almost unstoppable right now. Her voice seemed to drag every word. Poe didn't answer her, which prompted her to turn her semi-focused eyes to the stunned-looking panda. He was looking at the clear yet sticky substance that coated his black furred paw, opening and closing his paw as if to gauge the viscosity. Jesus. Tigress couldn't help the burning hot blush that covered her face beneath her black, orange, and white fur. She didn't know she was that sensitive down there. She didn't have any idea of just how it happened, but in a blur of black and white she found herself straddling his hips with one of his plump, juice-covered digits in her mouth as she sucked it heavily, grinding her hips back and forth against his cloth-restrained erection. Gods, she could feel his girth already. He was big everywhere. "Oh, man," he grunted with his eyes clenched shut as her juices soaked through her pants and into his shorts, engulfing his erection in wet heat. Oh man, was he gonna need a new pair of shorts if his current pair ever survived this fiasco? Jesus, it's almost over though. Tigress trailed her left paw down his chest, feeling the hardened muscles tense and relax beneath a softening layer of fat and fur. Her right hand was currently guiding his other hand back to her throbbing breast, which rose and fell with her heavy breaths. Boy, if Shifu ever found out about this, someone would be on the receiving end of a mercilessly swift kick in the balls. They both had the suspicion it would be Po. Pushing the thought aside, Tigress went to pull Poe's shorts down. She was done with foreplay. She needed this. Tigress's eyes shot open as she immediately went to cover her mouth as a deep, loud purr erupted from her throat. Fortunately, she managed to muffle it. That didn't mean she couldn't feel her body vibrate all over from the sheer intensity. She was left there, body trembling slightly, eyes unfocused and panting. For some reason, she felt good, unbelievably good. Gods, what was that? Was all she could think before she became aware of the wet heat between her legs. What the? She thought as she swished her tail back and forth lightly, then blushed furiously. Oh no. Immediately, she jumped up and changed her clothes, desperately trying to stuff the soiled training pants at the bottom of her laundry hamper. This was so embarrassing. She was a full-grown female tiger. She shouldn't be having wet dreams about her teammates. Then again, this is Po you were dreaming of, so it's really his fault for flaunting that nice round. Tiger shook the lustful thought out of her head. She should have better control of herself, especially her own thoughts. But that thought hadn't been lying about Poe's. Tiger quickly reared back her right paw and swiftly slapped herself across the face. Hang on. Across the face, her fur muffling the crack of the slap. But it did not do so well in dulling the force, which thankfully was enough to shut up her hormonal lusty thoughts pushed into the back of her mind. For now, that is. I need to mute that, sorry. That's getting annoying. But at the back of Tigress's mind, the lustful part of her mind began to manifest itself into a dark, seething entity. You can't deny it forever, Tigress. Soon, oh so soon, you'll give in to my influence, and you're gonna love it, darn it. Oh yes, I'll make you feel the thunder, ha ha ha. She laughed evilly as she began to plot the first crucial parts to her plan, back with Tigress. Tigress was currently debating whether or not she should tell Viper about this. Granted, when Viper had gone into heat, she'd pleaded with Tigress to tie her into a knot from the sacred peach tree, only to break down crying that Tigress was a horrible friend for doing this to her as soon as Tigress had done so and had turned to leave. Tigress shuddered at the memory. She'd tried to calm Viper down, only for her to suddenly switch emotions completely and started yelling that this was the reason Tigress didn't have anyone, that she couldn't just go tying her friends around to trees for no dang reason. That it actually hurt Tigress to her core. At this point, Viper immediately began to apologize and offered to give her a comforting around-the-neck hug if she untied her right then and there and gave her the location that Crane's current solo mission had him. In short, Tigress realized that Viper was not the person you want to talk to if she was in heat. That soft voice, innocent as your eyes, and hormone-fueled cunning was a dangerous combination that no one should be exposed to. Suddenly, a thought occurred to her. If Viper's sweet-natured self was dangerous to be around if she was tied to / around a tree, what dangers hid within an unrestricted hormone-enraged Tigress whose target of interest was sleeping right across the hall? I think I'll pay Po a visit later after today's training session. She mentally heard herself speak in a sultry tone. Maybe I'll pay him a little something extra. She needed help, and fast. A.N. So what do you guys and gals think? Lustful Tigers. I think they're thinking, oh my god, let Tigers lose control. And, rate the panda with the heart-shaped butt. Now, along with some other things I agree with. Raise his hand defensively. It's only the truth, people. Me. Wow, I really overdid it when I made you, didn't I? Lustful Tigers. Why did you say that? I'm hurt. Me. Yeah, and you've got your paw in your pants, and you're looking at the heart-shaped picture of Poe's butt like it's a piece of meat. Hey, didn't Poe give that to the new leader of the Ladies of the Shade? What was her name? Song? Blissful Tigers. Beats me. I noticed that when I stole it at her room, she was lying on it, had her eyes closed, breathing hard, and both her little kitten mittens hidden, messing with her forbidden fruit. Me. Okay. Anyways, tell me what you all think. Review. Blissful Tigers, get your paws out of your pants. Please review. Shut up with your goddarn moaning. And that's the end of, chapter, 1, you guys. There's 3 more chapters to that. I might read them, I might not, I don't know. But, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you on the next video.